Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Okay, like this. So now what will happen in this case? This line will throw the error because upper belongs to class string. This will not be worked on integer, right? So now I'll be getting error saying int object has no attribute upper because 6000 will be assigned to location, right? So that is the reason. For example, if I pass in the form of string, right, then it will not give you any errors. Okay, so I can write throws error since 6000 is an integer and cannot be okay cannot be used with upper. Okay, this is nothing but positional parameter. So next one we have keyword parameter. I can say, okay, next one we have keyword parameter. That is, what is keyword parameter? That is, based on the keyword, the values will be assigned to the parameters. Okay, keyword should be any one of the name of the parameter. Okay, the advantages here, order of parameters can be changed. Okay, order of parameters can be changed. So for example, if I say display EMP, I can say name is equal to Davis and location is equal to Mumbai, and then salary is equal to 7,000, like this. And similarly, I can write something like display EMP, location is equal to Mumbai, salary is equal to 7,000, and then name is equal to Davis. So the values will be mapped to the parameters based on the keyword. Okay, so now even if you change the order of parameters, you can see the same output. Like Davis from Mumbai earns rupees 7,000, Davis from Mumbai earns rupees 7,000, like that. Got it, Ajmal? Any doubts so far?
No, fine.
No, right? Okay. So next one, let's see mix of positional and keyword. Okay, next one, let's see mix of positional and keyword. So we can mix these two parameters. So whenever you are going to mix, first you have to pass the parameters by position, okay, followed by keyword parameters. Okay, so that is first you have that is when you want to mix this two, right? First you have to pass the parameters by position, and the left out parameters can be passed in keyword. For example, here I have three parameters. So if I want to pass, so let me pass uh, this one by, that is name by position. Okay, I can say Justin. Okay, and then I can pass location and salary in keyword. So in that case, I can just change the order, like salary is equal to 8,000, and then location is equal to Kolkata, like that. Okay, so first you have to pass the parameter by position. Okay, okay, and then the remaining parameters you can pass it by keyword. So now you can see Justin from Kolkata earns rupees 8,000. All right. For example, consider I am just passing like this. Okay, Justin, salary is equal to 8,000 and then Kolkata. So this will raise compilation error. Okay, you can see positional argument follows keyword argument. Okay, this will raise compilation error basically. So you can't see output of the previous lines. Okay, and then consider I'm saying name is equal to Kolkata now. So as per the rule, this is perfect. There is positional parameters followed by keyword parameters. But what I am doing here, see, by position, name is already being assigned. But I'm assigning multiple values for the same parameter. So this will not raise compilation error. This will raise the runtime error. Okay. Now you can see display employee got multiple values for argument name. Okay. So in this case, it should be location. So now you can see the output. Justin from Kolkata earns rupees 8,000. Got it, Ajmal?
Yeah, yes, got it.
Okay, so when I will use this particular form, because you can ask, I can execute the function by passing all keyword parameters and all positional parameters like that. So if you start the parameters with the keyword, you have to pass all the parameters by keyword. Okay, if you start the parameters with the keyword, you have to pass all the parameters by keyword only. All right, now we have the next form of parameter is nothing but default parameters. So we can provide default value to the parameters. Okay, so default values can be provided to the parameters in the function definition. Okay, while defining the function, you have to place the default values for the parameters. So when you want to provide the default parameters, there also you have to follow one rule. That is, you have to decide which can take default values, which cannot take default values. Then you have to say, first you have to place all non-default parameters followed by, okay, all default parameters. Okay, and parameters which has default values are optional to pass. Okay, it is not required to pass basically. So now coming to the function definition. So let's consider name as default and this location and salary as non-default. Sorry, I have changed it wrongly. So name as non-default and location salary as default. Okay, so in this case, first I can place non-default parameter followed by default parameter, that is location is equal to Bangalore. And see, now since I have given default value to location, okay, I should give default value for salary as well, because which is present in between, like non-default, default, non-default, it is not allowed. So if I just execute this, right, I will get a compilation error, that is non-default argument follows default argument like that. So if you start providing the default values for the parameters, the value should be provided for the rest of the parameters, let's say 5,000. Okay, so in this case, it is not required for me to, okay, it is not required for me to pass location and Bangalore, sorry, location and then salary. It is not required for me to pass. I can just pass only name. Okay, so now I can say print display name, I can give Clark. Now what will happen? Location and salary will be taking the default values. So now you can see Clark from Bangalore earns rupees 5,000 like this. So now I'm just writing. So now consider I want to retain the default value for location, but I want to change the default value for salary. So in that case, right, I can say something like this, like Clark, okay, comma, and then sal is equal to 8,000. Okay, Clark and then I can say sal is equal to 8,000. So in this case, you can pass both the parameters like positional as well as the keyword. So if you use this particular form, you can skip the parameters which is present in between, which has default values in it. For example, I can't pass like this. Now what will happen in this case? I will get an error because 8,000 will be assigned to location. So in this case, I should say sal is equal to 8,000. Okay, so now you can see Clark from Bangalore earns rupees 8,000. Okay, clear, Ajmal? Any doubts so far?
Yeah, that's fine. So by changing the default value, we can just give here like that. The function
Yes,
with the
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
change. Okay.
So if you want to overwrite it, you can just change it over here. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And then the last form of parameter is nothing but variable length parameters. Okay, variable length parameters. That means we have two different representation. One is star, other one is double star. So what do you mean by star? Star followed by any variable name is nothing but any number of, okay, n number of 0 to n number of positional parameters, okay, positional params will be received in the form of tuple. I can pass any number of positional parameters. Okay, whatever you pass, that will be taken in the form of tuple. And then I can say kwargs, which is nothing but any number of, okay, any number of keyword parameters, okay, any number of keyword parameters, and which will be received in the form of dictionary. Okay, now consider I have a function. So I have like def display underscore det. Within this bracket, I'm saying, so first we know the rule, right? Positional followed by keyword, right? So first I have to say star args and star star kwargs, or I can give any name, no problem. So I can say star scr comma double star det. Okay, now let me print. So it is not required to use star and double star when you want to print those variables. Okay, I can just say scr, okay, and then type of scr, and then whenever I say det, and then I can say type of det. Now let me call this function now. First let me call without passing any parameter or just passing any number of parameters. Okay, let me pass Python PHP Perl type is equal to interpreted, name is equal to scripting. Okay, and the second function call I'm just going to do with display det without any parameters. Okay, display det without any parameters. All right, so now what will happen in this case is whenever I invoke this, all positional parameters will be stored into scr in the form of tuple, and all keyword parameters will be stored into det in the form of keyword or in the form of dictionary. Okay, so but for a second function call, both will be empty because I don't have anything over here. Okay, look at this. First one, Python PHP Perl has been received in the form of tuple, and second one, type is interpreted, name is scripting, class dictionary. And also you can see it is empty tuple and then empty dictionary for the second function call. In this case, now consider I have something over here called lang, that is some standalone parameter. Okay, I have some parameter like this. So in this case, what will happen? Let's say lang. Okay, in this case, what will happen? Based on the position, Python will be assigned to lang. Okay, based on the position, Python will be assigned to lang. And the remaining positional parameters will be assigned to SCR. Okay, so now, but for second function call, I should pass at least one parameter. Okay, so I can say here lang, or else I can say here Python. So at least one parameter I should pass it over here. So now let's see. Lang is Python, the remaining PHP and Perl inside tuple, and type is interpreted, name is scripting inside class dictionary. Okay, now also you can see lang is Python, empty tuple, and then empty dictionary. Okay, so this is how it will work. If you have any parameter before star, now consider I have one standalone parameter between star and double star, let's say platform. Now let's see what will happen in this case. So lang, so let's take this one. So lang will take Python, SCR will take PHP and Perl in the form of tuple, and then platform. So when you say star SCR, whatever remaining positional parameters are there will be read. So the parameter which is present next to star SCR will be considered as a keyword parameter. So I should pass the value to platform in the form of keyword. Okay, in the form of keyword actually. Okay, so now if I execute this, I will get a error saying, okay, I will get a error saying display DET missing one required keyword only argument platform. So when you have, that is when you want to pass any parameter to this particular platform, you have to pass only in the form of keyword. Okay, like platform is equal to multi. Okay, only in the form of keyword. That's why if you take print function, we are passing the value for SEP and END in the form of keyword. That's the reason, because those are all standalone parameters basically. Okay, and also over here we have to say platform is equal to multi. Okay, so now you can see the output. Platform is nothing but multi, platform is nothing but multi. Got it? Ajmal, any doubts?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Somewhere I have to, I feel I have to go through once, then only I'll get it.
Okay, yeah. So take it down, and then if you get any doubt, please let me know.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is what the different forms of parameters. So once you complete this, then we'll move on to lambda expressions. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I pressed something. No. I just, I'm not seeing that terminal to run.
Just to say view tool windows terminal. You are seeing that?
Yeah, view tool window, terminal.
Terminal. Alt plus F12. You will get terminal window.
Yeah,
Or else
but
down you will.
okay, but my up arrow and all what I did, it was not showing here.
Yeah, because when you open, right, when you open fresh,
Can
it
you
will.
just show the terminal window once? I just
Yeah.
want okay, okay. I think I'm in Python prompt. So this D training and all that location it is not showing now.
1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Let me share. So please share your screen. 1 second. Yeah, share your screen, please. Just to say exit, open parenthesis, and then close parenthesis, because you have just type Python and then you have pressed enter, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because you have entered into Python shell.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes. So just give Python and then file name.
Okay, good.
You have missed one bracket at the last line.
Oh,
The last line, one
okay.
bracket is missing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, please share.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah, I have done. Can you just please show me that output once again?
Yep.
Okay. I think something missed. I think multi I'm getting. So some keyword I think somewhere it missed. Okay.
See here, platform multi.
Platform.
So you would have forgot to give that quotes, single quotes, line number 51.
Yeah, right. That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the last part, I think somewhere I mean, I got the output, but I'm not getting completely what the last function, that star SCR and star DET and all.
No, the thing is, star SCR means like any number of positional parameters. You can pass any number of parameters. It is that there is no specific number.
Okay.
So if you pass any number of positional parameters, right, that can be caught in just a single variable in the form of tuple.
Okay.
And double star is nothing but any number of keyword parameters. You can pass any number of keyword parameters like this. You can say name is equal to Ajmal also.
Okay. Yeah, that
Okay.
will be in a dictionary.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
there is a restriction in the number of parameters over here.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
if you give it like this, right, you can't pass more than 3 parameters.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that is the reason. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So next one we are going to see lambda expressions. So consider I have one function, that is proper function I have. Okay. So let's write def calc underscore func, and then I can say num comma value is equal to 2, and then I can just return num star value. Okay, def calc function num comma value is equal to 2, and then return num star value. Okay, so now if I execute, okay, so let's give only this calc function and type of calc func. Okay, So whenever you give just the function name, it will just take the reference. The function will not be invoked. Okay, it will just take the reference. The function will not be invoked at all. So to invoke the function, I can just write calc function 1. I can just say calc function of 5. So in this case, I don't have, that is, I'm not passing second parameter because it has default value in it. And similarly, I can just say calc func2, and then I can say calc function 5, 3. So now what will happen in this case? So at line number 6, it will print the reference and what is the type. So basically this type is nothing but function, class function. Okay. So, and then whenever I say calc function 1, okay, it gives you, there is a calc function of 5, right? 5 will be assigned to num and value will take default parameters. So 5 square, 25 will be printed. And whenever I say 5, 3, 5 cube, 125 will be printed. So this is just the normal functions. Okay, this is just the normal function, that is, which is defined using def keyword. Now, if you see this function definition, I am not doing anything else apart from evaluating one expression and just returning those expressions. Okay, that is, I'm just evaluating one expression. I'm just returning one output. That's it. All right. So in this case, right, I can define a lambda expression. So basically, what is lambda expression? Okay, so lambda expressions are anonymous function. That is, if you see this, you can see it's a function reference and it has some name associated to it. Okay, like function calc func, like that. Okay, there is some name associated to it. But anonymous means there will not be any name at all. We can store the function definition into a variable basically. Okay, and it is single line function. It is just one liner function basically, and it can take any number of parameters. Okay, but it evaluates only one expression. Okay, it can take any number of parameters, but it evaluates only one expression. Okay, that can be of any, that is any single line expression can be given. Okay, any single line expression can be given over here. Okay, so now let me write calc underscore lambda is equal to, okay, so now our lambda expression should start with keyword lambda. Okay, our lambda expression should start with the keyword lambda followed by any number of parameters. Value is equal to, that is, whatever parameters I have given here, and then I have just placed it over here. So once you are done with the parameters, just place colon. Okay, once you are done with the parameters, just place colon. Okay, and you have to place the expression that needs to be evaluated and has to be returned. That's it. This is the thing but lambda expression. So now let me say calc lambda and then type of calc lambda. Okay, then I will call calc lambda 1. Okay, calc lambda of 5, and then calc lambda 2. Then I can write calc lambda of 5, 3. So now you can see the output. That is, there is no name associated to it. This is function calc function. This is function lambda. And then you can see calc function 1 is 25, calc function 2 is 125. Similarly, calc lambda 1 is 125 and calc lambda 2 is 125, like that. So basically, over here, you can place any single line expression. Okay, you can place any single line expression actually.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
See, for example, we had one comprehension, right? Okay, that is, let's say SQR1, okay, is equal to, we can say that is n square for n in range of 1 comma 6. Okay, n of, that is a range of 1 comma 6. So now what will happen in this case? If I print this square 1, it will print the squares of 1 to 5. Now consider, I want to find the squares of numbers from 1 to 10. In this case, I have to define another variable, right? That is SQR2, and then I have to say range of 1 comma 11, and then I have to say like this. So now you can see 1 square to 5 square and 1 square to 10 square. So if I want to generalize this, what can I do is I can just write lambda expression. Okay, lambda expression to calculate the list of squares of n numbers. Okay, so now I can say square is equal to lambda max num, and then I can write n star 2 for n in range of 1 comma max num plus 1. So now, for example, if I say square 1, that is, I'm just saying SQR of 5. Now what will happen in this case? Max num, that is 5 will be assigned to max num, and range of 1 comma max num plus 1, that is 1 comma 5 plus 1 is 6. So this will generate the square of numbers from 1 to 5. Okay, and similarly I can say square 2. I can just pass the parameter like this, see square of 10, then I can say square of 20. Okay, so here I can say square of 20. Okay, so that is, over here it will generate the squares of 5 numbers, this will generate squares of 10 numbers, and this will generate the squares of 20 numbers. Okay, so you can see here 1 square to 5 square, 1 square to 10 square, and 1 square to 20 square. Okay, so it is not required to write the comprehension again and again. Okay, I can just place it in one lambda expression, and then I can just pass the parameter like this. Got it, Ajmal?
Yes.
Yeah.
One question I'm having.
Yes.
So if I write one more, lambda function, what will happen? Because there is no name, right, associated with that.
The thing is, but you are storing to one particular variable, right? So
Oh,
that will
okay.
be replaced.
Yeah. Okay.
That will be replaced actually.
Yeah.
See, for example, now let me write, okay, square, and then here I'm just writing n comma n square like this. Okay, now only this will be taken, not the
Yeah.
previous one.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so look at this. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, take it down, and then we'll see map filter reduce. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is done.
Done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, so next one, we are going to see map, filter, and reduce. Okay, map, filter, reduce. So I can write here some simple lambda expressions. Okay, so first one, let's see map. That is, I'm just writing SQR is equal to lambda n colon n square. Okay, so that is, if I just pass any variable, okay, it will be squared. So now you can see it is 25. Okay, so now this particular lambda expression will accept only one parameter. It will not accept multiple parameters here, right? So consider I want to execute this same function for n number of values. Okay, so normally what we will do, I will be having some loop like for n in range of 1 comma 10, and then I will just say print square of n. So now the same function will be called from 1 to 10 actually. So I'll be getting the output like this, 1 4 9, there is 1 square to 10 square like this. So instead of doing this, I can say, okay, so square underscore list map is equal to, I can just write map of this particular function, map function first, that is the first parameter should be the reference to the function. Okay, I have to place the reference, that is sqr, the function reference you have to place. The second parameter is some iterable object. Okay, you can just say something like 1 4 9, okay, let's say 1 3 5 9 7, something like this. Okay, now what will happen in this case is this square function will be invoked for each and every element in the list implicitly. So now if I print this, okay, map sqr, now this will print the reference basically. You can see map object like this. If I want to read the outputs, I can just convert to list. Just convert the output of map to list or tuple, anything. Okay, now you can see the output 1 9 25 81 49. That is what is sqr of 1 1, 3 square 9, 5 square 25, 9 square 81, 7 square 49. So this is with respect to that is, for example, consider this is accepting some two parameters now. Okay, let's say I'm saying m comma n, and then I'm just giving m star star n like this. Okay, in this case I have to pass two parameters. This will not work with one parameters at all, right? So in this case you can see square equal to 25, but it is giving the error here, that is lambda missing one required positional argument n. Okay, so in this case what should I do? If the function is accepting, that is whatever function that you are using here, okay, if it is accepting more than one parameter, I have to give one more list like this. That is, I can say 1 2 3, okay, 2 and then 4, something like this, simply. Okay, now what will happen? Index 0 from this, index 0 from this will be passed as a parameter. That is, it will be called like square of 1 comma 1. Then next function call will be square of 3 comma 2. Then square of 5 comma 3, like that. Okay, so now you can see the output like first one, 1 to the power of 1 is 1, 3 square 9, 5 cube 125, 9 to the power of square, that is 9 square 81, 7 to the power of 4, nothing but 2401. Okay, so basically it will work like that. All right, it will work like that. Clear, Ajmal, so far?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, now consider I am using filter. So what do you mean by filter? That is, we are filtering the list value based on some condition. So now let's say check num is equal to lambda n, and then I'm just saying n is greater than 0 like this. Now I have, okay, now I'm just saying map underscore num is equal to, okay, I'm calling the map itself. Okay, let's say list of map of check num, okay, and then I'm saying range of -5 comma 6. So what is range of -5 comma 6? This will give you the values like -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. Okay, so now if I execute this and then if I print this, okay, so map num. So what will happen? For each and every input, there will be an output. That is nothing but map. If you are passing 10 inputs, you will be having 10 outputs. Okay, so now what will happen? For each and every number, okay, there will be an output. So now it will be like false. First one is false, second one is false, third one is false, fourth one is false, fifth one is false, sixth one is false. But the last 5 elements are true. Okay, so now you can see the map output like this: false, 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 and last 5 are true. Now if you apply the same thing using filter, okay, if you pass the same thing using filter, okay, now what will happen here is, let's say here filter, okay, now what will happen here is this will, okay, this will retrieve only the numbers which are satisfying by this condition. That is in the map, okay, in the map, for whatever element that you have retrieved as true, only those elements will be retrieved, the same value will be retrieved. Okay, so now look at this. Filter num is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically you are filtering the list, depends on the condition. Okay, so it will just display the values for which the condition is satisfied. Understood the difference between map and filter?
Yes.
Okay, so third one is nothing but reduce. Okay, third one is nothing but reduce. So what do you mean by reduce? Okay, so in order to implement reduce, I have to import a module called functool as ft. I have to import this particular module. See, this map and filter, I can use it directly, no problem at all. But in order to implement reduce, I have to import functools. Okay, and then now consider I have some lambda like factorial is equal to lambda n1 comma n2 colon n1 star n2. Okay, consider something like this: lambda n1 comma n2 colon n1 star n2. Now let's see, let's say fact is equal to reduce of, that is ft dot reduce of first one factorial comma, and then I can say range of 1 comma 6. So we know what is range of 1 comma 6, right? So we know what is range of 1 comma 6. That is, it will take the input as 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. So now what will happen? The first 2 elements will be sent as the input to this function. That is factorial of 1 2. Okay, factorial of 1 2 will be called. Now what will be the output with respect to this? 1 into 2, which is nothing but 2. All right, next what will happen? The output, okay, and the next available input. What is next available input? 3 will be called. So now 2 into 3, it will be 6, right? And then 6 comma next input, 6 into 4 is nothing but 24. Then factorial of 24 comma 5. It is 120. So there is no available input. Okay, so now the answer is 120. Okay, let's say print factorial is nothing but fact. Okay, now you can see the output here. It is 120. Got it? Got it, Ajmal?
Yeah, yes.
So that is nothing but reduce. Okay. Yeah, take it down.
Yeah, I have done.
Done, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one we are going to see scopes. Okay, scope of variables. So let's write here. So let me have one function here, like change num. Okay, in this I'm just defining, sorry, I'm just printing some variable like in change num. All right, and then I'm defining some variable called num is equal to 5. Then I'm calling the function change num. Then I'm saying after change num, I'm printing the same thing. Okay, after change num is num. Okay, so now what will happen here? Okay, so here I have defined one function. So I have declared one variable called num, which contains the value 5. Now I'm calling the function. So now what will happen? In change num, the same reference will be printed. Okay, it will print 5 only because I didn't define any variable explicitly inside the function. So if I'm not doing that, the same variable will be referenced in both inside and outside the function. Okay, so I can write Python scopes. You can see in change num it is 5. After change num it is 5. Okay, now consider what I'm going to do is I'm just going to declare num is equal to 50. Inside the function, I'm going to declare num is equal to 50. So when I say num is equal to 50, so this one will be available only for this particular function. Okay, if you come outside of the function, it will just point to 5 only, because if you declare any values within this function, okay, it is just a local scope. So look at this now. In change num it is 50, but in after change num it is just 5. Okay, now consider you want this value should be reflected even outside the function. That is, if you modify any number value to this particular variable, okay, if you modify, the same value should be reflected even outside the function. So in that case, I can just say before assigning the value, I have to declare like this, global num. I have to declare like this, global num. So in this case, what will happen? You can see in change num it is 50, after change num it is 50. So this makes the reference num public. So if you make any changes to the variable, that will be reflected even outside the function. Now consider I have one more function here.
One question, but after that we are assigning again num is equal to 5, right? So that is.
Sorry, come again.
No, okay, after the function we are declaring num is equal to 5 again, right? So that take effect.
No, the thing is, this will be executed after this only, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, right. Okay.
Got it? Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, now I am going to have another function that is change num again. Okay, So in this, I have something called num is equal to 500. Okay, and then now I am going to say change num again. Now let's say after change num again, let me print the num now. So now, even though you have made global, okay, over here, this will not be reflected for the other functions. Okay, so in this, you have said num is equal to 500. So this num is equal to 500 will be reflected, okay, will be exist only for this particular function. That is, if I say in change num again, okay, in change num again, it will be 500, okay, but after change num again, it is just 50. So if you want the changes that is made to this particular, that is in this particular function, should be reflected even outside the function. In this function also, I have to say global num. Okay, so in each and every function, I have to say global num. Only then, if you change anything, that will be reflected. Otherwise, it is not. Okay, so now look at this 500. Got it, Ajmal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's see pass by reference. Okay, pass by reference. Okay, before that, let's say shallow copy and then deep copy. Let me explain this and then we'll go to that. Okay, so consider I have one list. List A is equal to Python, and then I'm saying list B is equal to list underscore A. Okay, that is, I'm saying list A is equal to Python, and then I'm saying list B is equal to list A. That is, I'm copying the list. So now let me print it. Print list A, ID of list A, and then value list A. And similarly, I am printing list B, ID of list B, then I'm saying list B here. Now what I'm going to do is modify list A. That is list A dot add of Perl. Okay, sorry, dot append, right? Dot append of Perl. Now I'm saying when you modify A, what will be the value of list A and what will be the value of list B? And then I am modifying list B now. So list B dot append of PHP. Now I'm saying modify B, okay, and then I can say list B, sorry, list A, and then I'm printing both list B like this. So now let me explain. So now when you assign one list to another list directly like this, what will happen? It performs shallow copy. That is, both the reference and the data are copied. Okay, both the reference and data are copied. That is, if you modify, that is, both will point to the same reference. So if you modify A, B will be reflected. Okay, B will be affected, and if you modify B, A will be affected. So at any time, these two objects will contain the same amount of data. There is no difference in it. Okay, at any point of time, these two will contain same amount of data. Okay, so look at this list A. See here, 200, 968, 200, 968. So initially Python, I have just modified list A here, that is Perl. So now you can see both list A and list B have been modified. and similarly for list B. So both list A and list B are modified. So this is called as shallow copy. And then what do you mean by deep copy? That is, instead of saying this, if I say LST underscore A of colons, so in this case, what will happen? It performs deep copy, that is, only data are copied but not the reference. Okay, only the data are copied but not the reference. So both belongs to two different references. Here we are just copying the data alone. So if you modify A, list B will never be impacted, and if you modify B, list A will never be impacted. So both will have different set of data now. See here, 425608, 426120. So now you can see Python initial stage. Okay, now Python comma Perl in A and just Python in B, Python comma Perl in B and Python comma PHP in B. Got it, Ajmal? Yeah. Okay, because this concept is very much important for pass by reference. Okay, so now let's see pass by reference. You can easily understand. That is pass by reference. Okay, so I can say def change list. I can just have something variable called list. Okay, and then I'm writing list dot extend of 4, 5, and then I'm printing print in change list. I'm printing LST. So now outside the function, I'm creating one list which contains 1, 2, 3, and then I'm calling change list of num list. Then after that, that is after change list, I am printing. Okay, I am printing the variable, that is num list. Okay, so this is nothing but passed by reference. Okay, this is nothing but passed by reference. So now what will happen is, that is, I am assigning the reference of num list to variable LST. So what type of copy I am doing here? Shallow or deep? Ajmal?
Yes. 1 minute.
Yeah, so that is, I'm copying the reference here.
Okay.
So which copy is this?
Copying, right? That is
Shallow copying. Shallow
yeah.
copying. Okay, so that is, whenever you modify list, num list will also be impacted. Okay, so what is happening here? It is taking the value like this. That is, I am going to assign LST is equal to num list. I am assigning like this, right? In this case, okay, I am assigning LST is equal to num list. So both the data and reference will be copied. So if you modify anything inside the function using this extend, append, insert, those functions, okay, like dot functions. All right. So this will also be impacted within the function.
Yeah, I
and
forgot
also outside the
what
function.
was that extend was doing. I forgot that one.
Extend means each and every element will be added to the list.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Okay. So now if I execute, you can see in change list it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and after change list it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That is, if you modify using any methods, that will be reflected even outside the list. For example, consider I'm doing like this now. Okay, I'm invoking like this. That is, let's say pass by value. Okay, instead of passing the reference, I'm just passing using colon. So now what will happen? LST will be assigned only with the values. So in this case, what will happen? Okay, in this case, what will happen? That is, whatever you modify using extend method, that will not be reflected outside the function. So 4, 5 will be added only within the function, but outside the function, num list will have only 1, 2, 3. Okay, because that is passed by value. See here, 1, 2, 3. But in change list, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got it, Ajmal?
Yes, got it.
Yes. Yeah. So try it out. Now let me know once it is done.
Yeah.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.